Patrick Connors. Some know him as Florida Man and others Captain America, but all know him as the 2024 North American International Champion. Patrick Connors holds the impressive title of the 2024 VGC North American International Champion. But who is Patrick Connors? Why are some people calling him the VG American Hero? And most importantly, what's his bench, bruh? 375. The answer is 375. As for the other two questions, let's set the stage. Every year, 3 international championship tournaments shake up the Pokemon VGC world. These aren't just any competitions. They're among the most prestigious events outside of the World Tournament, featuring hefty cash prizes, exclusive merchandise, and of course, the unmatched prestige of being hailed as a titan among titans. Historically, the winners of these tournaments are considered the elite, the best of the best. Fast forward to the summer of 2024, and it seemed like Europe was on a winning streak. Each of the international tournaments for that season had been claimed by European players. Marco Silvia from Italy took the November 2023 Latin American International, while Nils Dunlap from Sweden claimed the April 2024 European International. It appeared that our European competitors were poised to sweep the international stage, with North America as their final target. Now you're probably starting to get the picture. Like I said, Patrick Connors is the 2024 North American International Champion. But the title of VGC American Hero? That's not just about winning. Stick with me, because as your VG Pokemon professor, I'm about to delve into one of the most uplifting tales in Pokemon VGC history, about how one player rose against the odds to take down a giant of the competitive scene. Oh, but quickly, I want to express my gratitude for the tremendous support I got on my last video. I asked for subscriptions and comments, and you really came through. As a solo Pokemon professor, creating these videos without a team means each element is crafted with my personal dedication and hard work, all to just deliver amazing stories to you. So to all of you that showed up, thank you. And if you haven't yet already, please consider subscribing to hear more of my favorite VGC stories to come. Now, if you caught the NAIC finals, then you'll likely recall this pivotal moment.
Huge adjustment from Patrick, bringing out the Pelipper.
This is when the entire Pokemon community witnessed Patrick Connors rise to the title of champion. But as impressive as this moment was, it's just a glimpse into the full narrative. Let's delve deeper into one of our key questions. Who exactly is Patrick Connors? Patrick Connors, hailing from Florida, was relatively unknown outside of his local Pokemon community. He picked up the game a few seasons ago, and aside from a decent performance at some smaller tournaments, he hadn't made a significant mark on the competitive scene. In essence, Patrick was much like any of us, enthusiastic about Pokemon, yet far from the spotlight of world-class competition. Surprisingly, even his family was barely aware of his involvement in the game. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum stood his opponent, Aurélien Soula from France. Aurélien wasn't just a top competitor in his country or even Europe. He was widely regarded as a potential future Pokemon world champion. Since advancing to the Masters division, Aurélien had consistently reached the top cuts of nearly every tournament they participated in, even boasting 2 runner-up titles at major regional level events right before the North American International Championship. Oh, and for those new to the scene, Pokemon competitions are segmented into 3 age divisions, with the Masters division being the final division that players graduate to. In this elite division, Aurélien had already begun to forge a legacy, marking him as a true prodigy in the world of competitive Pokemon. Indeed, on the tournament day, the consensus was clear. Aurélien was the superior competitor. The announcers knew it, his fellow contestants knew it, and even Patrick Connors himself acknowledged Aurélien's edge.
Because they're just a better player than most people, including I think they're a better player than myself. They have way more accomplishments.
So what was Patrick Connors to do on the eve of his biggest challenge? I mean, what could he possibly do to prepare to face a player of such monumental skill? The obvious choices like memorizing stats or running practice games seemed inadequate for the task at hand. To truly contend with his formidable opponent, Patrick needed a deeper understanding of Aurelien's tactics. Despite being relatively new to the competitive scene, Patrick was keenly aware that knowledge is paramount in strategy games. But he faced a dilemma. Many offered their help, but could he discern the true allies from those who might betray his strategies to Aurélien? In the end, Patrick decided to trust only his closest friend and his own meticulous preparation methods. That night, in a scene reminiscent of Ichigo facing down Zangetsu in battle, Patrick dove into an intensive review of his own past matches. He dissected every move, every choice, questioning everything about his approach to the game. What are my habits? What are my weaknesses? These introspective analysis was not just about refining his tactics. It was about transforming his understanding of himself as a player by gaining a deeper understanding of his own playstyle. Okay, there's no way around it. Let's pause for a moment because we really need to talk about that word, playstyle. It's a word tossed around frequently, yet many struggle to define what it truly means. Understanding a trainer's playstyle isn't just an extra layer of strategy. It's everything. In top-tier competitive Pokemon, the battle you see on screen is merely the surface of a much deeper strategic war. So what does playstyle encompass? It's more than just a preference for strategies like Trick Room or Sun Teams. Playstyle reflects how a player engages with the game's mechanics, incorporating elements such as aggressiveness, risk management, and resource allocation. There are a lot of components to this, and it sounds like very dry and technical, but if you've ever played a game of Pokemon, these are considerations that you've made. Like in moments when you've predicted your opponent's switch or guessed which Pokemon they were going to bring to a matchup, what you were really doing was analyzing their resource allocation and adaptability. And I wasn't being over the top when I said managing playstyle is everything. Listen to any top-level player talk about their victories after a match, and you'll often hear phrases like, "I forced my opponent to play the game my way," or "I was in my opponent's head." They're describing how they countered and dominated their opponent's playstyle while enforcing their own. It's a pretty complex topic, and one that I'm looking to explore in a video that I'm working on right now. Imagine stepping into Patrick Connor's shoes as he walked onto the stage, with thousands tuning in to watch his match. Could you have ever imagined that a simple hobby would bring you to such heights? While I won't be detailing every turn of this battle, that's better left to Patrick himself. Check the link in the description. I want to explain why he's hailed as the VG American hero. On the day of the match, Patrick was transformed. He spent the entire night before the tournament breaking down his own gameplay, akin to a anime training montage, stripping his tactics down to the bare essentials and rebuilding them strong enough to challenge a Pokemon legend.
I think that I like to play aggressive and fast, and I don't like to play scared, so I guess expect a few Glacial Lances.
As the match began, Patrick promised an aggressive gameplay, which he delivered, initiating attack after attack after attack. From the night before, Patrick realized that in a matchup involving Terapagos, Aurelien's most formidable Pokemon, he often relied on his Urshifu to lead the charge. Knowing that if he saw this pattern, Aurélien would too, Patrick adopted an aggressive opening strategy, targeting what he expected Aurélien would use to counter his Urshifu. Patrick's opening was a strategic jab, predicting Aurelien's Urshifu counters and bringing Rillaboom and Raging Bolt in response. Aurélien attempts to dodge, but Patrick was ready with a right hook. Spotting the switch, he landed his second punch.
Patrick made the reads! Went for the Grassy Glide and the Thunderclap, just big!
As Aurélien attempts to retaliate, Patrick deftly blocks and counters with a left hook, securing his initial victory.
Glide until the Rillaboom can switch out and back in. And now that Terra Starstorm is spread damage.
Actually just going for the Dark Pulse though. But fortunately, Patrick has scouted that out. The Protect will avoid damage from both of these attacks, so Rillaboom gets in for free, and the Fake Out has been recycled.
This sequence showcased Patrick's dominance, as Terapagos, Aurelien's powerhouse, failed to score any damage in this round.
About the timing and the positioning from Patrick in that matchup, because
the crowd surged to their feet, witnessing a giant falter and drop to one knee. I think the commentators here summed it up perfectly.
Patrick is just making correct call after correct call here. He is in Aurelien's head.
In his head, Aurelien's well-calculated low-risk playstyle is notoriously difficult to disrupt. And Patrick knew that giving Aurélien too much space could let them build up to a major victory. That's why Patrick took the offensive right from the start. This strategy forced Aurélien to abandon his usual cautious approach in favor of a more aggressive and risky playstyle. We saw this shift when they doubled down on Patrick's Calyrex Ice Rider, a bold play considering it might have just used Protect. Patrick wasn't just inside of Aurelien's head, he was dictating the play styles of both players, compelling Aurélien to adapt to his level of aggression. It's like taking the highest ranked foot golf player and setting them up against Lionel Messi.
His name with the Spanish/Argentinian pronunciation, Lionel Messi.
It's like taking the highest ranked foot golf player and setting them up against Lionel Messi in a game of soccer. The point is, being the best in one area doesn't always translate to success in the other. Actually, I wonder how much Messi can bench. 225. Boom, got him. Actually, Patrick's probably carrying the average on that one. But Aurelien's stellar reputation isn't just for show. From the onset of Game 2, they were determined to demonstrate to the entire Pokemon world, and to Patrick, why they're regarded as one of Europe's elites. And in the crucial second turn of the game, Aurélien did this.
A special attack drop on that Terapagos, which means it has to Terrasilize this turn. But that's not the Terapagos, that's actually the Grimmsnarl Terrasalizing into a Ghost-type Pokemon.
Oh yeah, you like to fake out Grimmsnarl? You can't fake out Ghost Grimmsnarl. Sorry, Rillaboom, but you're not stopping anything this turn. There's a Terra Starstorm coming out from Aurelien's Terapagos. It connects onto the Calyrex, and there's the foul play. Aurélien, what did you do? How did you catch that? Calyrex has gone down.
This turn highlights why Aurélien is a formidable opponent. Here's the breakdown. Aurélien calls a fake out, targeting their support Pokemon despite their powerhouse Koopa Troopa being vulnerable without the move Protect. But the real game changer was his decision to forego Terrastalizing Terapagos, opting instead to empower Grimmsnarl. This move was risky, as Terapagos, when it's Terrastalized, gains massive damage potential through its ability Terra Shift. This ability transforms Terapagos into its stellar form, boosting its HP and enhancing its signature move, Stellar Starstorm. Say that 5 times fast. Turning it into a spread attack that deals guaranteed super effective damage against Terrastalized opponents. Most trainers conserve this powerful transformation for a late game sweep. However, Aurelien's choice to Terra Grimmsnarl instead was a strategic masterstroke that pretty much guaranteed a knockout on Patrick's Calyrex Ice Rider, swinging the game in their favor. This bold strategy seized the game from Patrick, giving a decisive Game 2 win to Aurélien. But that's not all it did, because the choices that Aurélien made in this battle indicated to Patrick that the trap he laid out in Game 1 was likely to carry him to the title of champion. Recall when I mentioned that Patrick had spent the evening analyzing his playstyle. His goal wasn't to overhaul his approach entirely. Instead, he aimed to anticipate Aurelien's potential strategies and, crucially, craft a plan that would use Aurelien's famed adaptability against them. Here's the strategy he devised. First, assure your opponent that you intend to play aggressively. After all, that's what they expect.
I think that I like to play aggressive and fast.
Second, not only meet this expectation, but exceed it. Make your aggressive play undeniable.
Patrick made the reads! Went for the Grassy Glide and the Thunderclap.
Third, Convince your opponent that they can secure a win by adopting an aggressive stance against you.
And there's the foul play! Aurélien! What did you do? How did you catch that?
For an extra twist, avoid using your best defensive counters to Terapagos in the first 2 matches. Lastly, present a deceptively appealing win condition for Game 3. Remember, when Terapagos is terrestrialized, it deals super effective damage to opposing Terra to Pokemon, but it also clears active weather and terrain effects on the field, like Kyogre's Rain or Rillaboom's grassy terrain. What strategy did Patrick employ then? He cleverly set the stage, activating grassy terrain with Rillaboom. He chose Terra Water for Calyrex Ice Rider, apparently to withstand the attack that defeated him in Game 2. And notably, he maintained the facade that he wouldn't bring Pelipper in its wide guard, a move that blocks attacks targeting both Pokemon simultaneously. These actions made it highly tempting for Aurélien to bet the whole game on terrestrializing Terapagos. After all, Aurélien had just shown that he could dominate Patrick in a game focused on aggressive maneuvering and sharp reads. So why wouldn't Aurélien capitalize on Terapagos' abilities to clinch the championship right there? Isn't the title here for the taking? Aurélien will win. The trap was set perfectly. If Aurélien had stuck to his slower, more balanced playstyle, he might have retained the flexibility to adapt to an unexpected switch-in like Pelipper. He could have navigated around wide guard and gradually built up to a late-game win with Terapagos. However, that's not what unfolded. Patrick Connors brought the giant down to his level and triumphed using the playstyle he had mastered, solidifying his status as VG Florida Man. No, VG American Hero.
Patrick coming all the way from Florida with the support of his local community, able to power through the paralysis and with a critical hit takes the win and is your 2024 North American International Champion.
Tune in to any regional, international, or Pokemon World stream and you'll notice some reoccurring names. The same names echoed throughout the arena at this event. Marco Silvia, Mills Dunlop, Aurélien Soula. This isn't by chance. Competitive Pokemon is notoriously challenging, and reaching the top echelons of VGC often sees the same elite competitors time and time again. However, at the North American International Championship, we witnessed something extraordinary. Patrick Connors demonstrated that with unwavering dedication and hard work, even underdogs can topple giants. Patrick did more than just prevent Europe from dominating the international tournaments. He symbolizes the potential for newcomers to make their mark in the competitive Pokemon scene. Pokemon, for many, isn't just another game. It's a narrative of building friendships, facing insurmountable odds head-on, and through the crucibles of battle, becoming the very best. Thanks for watching.
Pika pika.
Hello. Thanks for watching the video, and I just wanted to take a moment to share some of my favorite comments from my last video, because a lot of you really turned up, and that was really awesome. Like JPL545, JPL, that's an amazing sentiment. I plan on sharing all of my favorite stories, and who knows, maybe one day. Brown Cow 5210. Hell yeah. Interesting take on fixing Mewtwo. Mewtwo is like my all-time favorite legendary Pokemon, so that was a really awesome take. Valiant Picks. Valiant. Wow. Okay, so I'm new to this whole YouTube thing. Like no experience outside of this channel. So, I really appreciate all of you who have been giving my channel a chance, and thank you.